Macedonia, timeless.
In the heart of the Balkans, there is a country called Macedonia, the most eminent crossroads country, an inevitable station along your journey, but without doubt a place you would love to stay longer. It will enchant you with its magnificent uniqueness and awaken your curiosity from within. Throughout the centuries, Macedonia has kept the richness of its natural beauty, traditional values and different cultures. Just 170 kilometres from the capital Skopje and 15 kilometres from the Balkan Jerusalem Ohrid, there is a city called Struga, the majestic cradle of poetry in a splendid valley which spreads on both sides of the river Trim, which like a golden thread embroiders the land as it flows out of the waters of the Ohrid lake. Ever since Neolithic times, this has been an inhabited area. This is where the ancient road Via Egnatia passed, connecting the Western and Eastern Roman Empire, the main reason for the prosperity of the area. Struga has always been known as a guild city, with numerous shops. Although they are not to be found in such a great number nowadays, yet the bazaar still remains, like a whisperer on the street who sings nostalgic songs about the life of Struga's craftsmen and merchants. Struga possesses a special natural beauty, best experienced when strolling down the Ohrid Lake coast, while the sun mirrors its crystal clear surface, and the smell of grilled eel invites you to dine in some of the restaurants and taverns on the banks of the river Trim. It is known that by the flow of the river Drim the eels start their journey, the so-called wedding trip, to the Sargasso Sea where they spawn. Walking down the Kaldruma in the bazaar or the town streets, you shall encounter one name that echoes in your ears, Miladinov brothers. Dmitria and Konstantin Miladinovi are the greatest cultural figures, poets and collectors of folk tales who were born in this city of art. They have left an outstanding educational and cultural imprint on Macedonian heritage and made sure that this city will eternally glorify their deeds and be proud of them. On the street that is named after them, you will find their old city house where they used to live and work. It is preserved as a museum that you really have to visit. When you enter that memorial house, you will read their song Tuga za Jug, Longing for the South, by Konstantin Miladinov, which is always recited on the opening ceremony of the most famous poetry event in the world, Struga Poetry Evenings, which is held in the House of Culture that is also named Miladinov Brothers. Alongside poetry, Struga is known for art because this is the hometown of the famous artist Vangel Kojaman, whose house is also protected and preserved as a museum. Actually, Struga may be called a museum city if we mention the fact that ever since 1928, the Russian doctor Nikolai Antonovich Nizlobinsky opened the first museum collection, establishing the foundations of today's National Museum of Natural Science and one of the first museums in Macedonia. In Struga, there is also one of the older cultural monuments, the Mustafa Celebi Mosque. This Islamic religious temple dates from the 16th and 17th century. If you happen to visit Struga in the summertime, you may encounter some events besides the Struga Poetry Evenings. A parade of traditional folk outfits is held here as well, with which you ought to see the Macedonian traditional folk treasure of clothes, customs, songs and dances. Recently, there has been a 5-day pop and cultural festival organised outdoors, Dream On, whose motto is to include young people in diverse creative workshops and social and cultural debates, to connect and educate them through fun, a place where they can freely express their opinions. During the summer days, you can also enjoy the beaches in Struga, in the hotels or campsites a short distance from the city crowd. A real peace of mind and an immaculate beauty are to be found in the municipality Elen Kamen, where the view will paint for you the most majestic landscape you have ever seen. On the west coast of Ohrid Lake, 11 kilometres south of Struga, there's a village called Radojda, a place with several cave churches, among which the most famous and the most important is Saint Archangel Michael, that has 12 preserved frescoes from the 12th century, one of these being the Miracle of Honor, a scene among the oldest representations of wall artistry in the entirety of Christian art. The art in this cave church is one of the oldest remaining traces of those masters of art from the Ohrid Fine Art School of the 14th century. Once you are there, your breath will be the only thing breaking the silence as you sink into the glorious and sacred beauty. The Kalishta monastery is in the same village as well as the other 15 cave churches, among which the most famous is St. Bogorodica, where there are eremitic monk cells and one of the rarest icons of the Holy Mother and Jesus in Europe, painted in black, of which there are only 450. This icon is considered to have healing properties. On the other side, just over 13 kilometres from the centre of Struga, at 800 metres above sea level, there is a village called Vevchani. The people there are quite well known for their sense of humour, so they have even proclaimed their village an independent republic of Vevchani. It is also unique for many other things. There is a special Vevchani passport which can only be bought there, a coat of arms, a flag and a special currency, the lichnik, which can be purchased as a souvenir. The Vevchani springs are a unique natural beauty and rarity. The water there springs out from every pore of the mountain, leaving you breathless. A unique attraction that happens every year on January 13th to 14th is the holiday Veselica, and Vevchani is the very place where the famous Vevchani Carnival takes place. This carnival is visited by many people from all over, and they fill the village and the area just to become part of the festival and comic atmosphere, a time when the whole village mocks home and foreign political and social happenings with sarcastic masks and scenes. Struga and the other villages in its area are all very special in their own way. It takes very little to feel their essence and discover their irresistible charm. They are a true inspiration for those that want to discover what is below the surface. And if you choose to wine and dine in the local restaurants and try the delicious cheese pie, the homemade sausages, the jomleza in the oven, combined with homemade wine, you will wish to never leave this place again. So it is not by chance that the citizens of Struga say, "Kako Struga, nema druga," which means there is no other place like Struga.